Andretti's fresh effort for a Formula One entry, which includes recruiting General Motors and pitching a team under the Cadillac name, is still being opposed by a number of championship stakeholders. But why exactly are they being held off? Today, we're diving into what could possibly be the reason why other teams in F1 don't want Andretti to enter. But they do have one supporter within the higher-ups. Last week, Andretti and General Motors declared their desire to bid for an Andretti Cadillac F1 team, and the value of a works entry from the United States' largest automotive business, or even a project with its permission and support, appeared remarkable. But it's not received the backing that Andretti would have hoped for from the F1 community, and FIA President Mohammed Ben Sulayem has taken exception, citing what he sees as an adverse reaction to the Andretti Cadillac news. His remarks are extremely significant, given that no key F1 stakeholder has publicly criticized the Andretti Cadillac offer. F1 replied to the news with an admittedly unenthusiastic statement that chose not to name these important stakeholders, and instead highlighted that numerous negotiations are ongoing and that the championship cannot be jeopardized. There was no public reaction from the team, and it appears that the fan reaction has been overwhelmingly positive. While the official response has been lukewarm or muted, the adverse reaction occurred privately, which the FIA president has now made public. The basis of this is thought to be a lack of agreement on whether the proposed Andretti-General Motors relationship is what it appears to be, and whether it would enhance F1 as much as a full manufacturer effort would. After being continually rejected by senior authorities in the paddock, teams and the championship itself, project head Michael Andretti has changed approach and replaced his sole effort for one with a manufacturer association. Andretti appears to be doing exactly what Wolff and others have asked after criticizing Mercedes head Toto Wolff for being disrespectful to his organization. Andretti even said last week, "One of the big things was, what does Andretti bring to the party? Well, we're bringing one of the biggest manufacturers in the world now with General Motors and Cadillac." Though General Motors' interest and cooperation has been favorably accepted behind the scenes, most existing teams are leery of it, being a badging exercise masquerading as a genuine General Motors works team. Essentially, there's uncertainty about how involved General Motors will be. In fact, it is believed that all but one of the teams have stated their opposition to enlarging the grid for Andretti Cadillac. Alpine is an exception, as Renault is expected to equip this new project with an engine starting in 2026. Perhaps Andretti and General Motors saw some resistance coming, hence messaging such as this from GM President Mark Roos. Cadillac will have the opportunity to showcase its innovation and technology, going up against the best international luxury brands. At GM, we always take a lot of pride and joy in transferring the cutting-edge technology developed by our race teams to our production vehicles and taking it from the track to the street. This is not how a true sponsorship contract, such as the one between Sauber and Alfa Romeo, works. However, it is common lingo, and words ultimately mean very little, especially if stakeholders are cynical and are not giving Andretti the benefit of the doubt. In the context of the long-running F1 Andretti feud, it's worth considering whether the offer for a General Motors-backed Cadillac F1 project would have received a warmer reception if it didn't carry the obvious baggage of an Andretti connection. The F1 mention to secret conversations with other parties who were interested was telling. Consider how openly it's discussed attempting and failing to acquire Sauber in 2021, or the evident public lobbying in Miami last year, when Michael Andretti attempted to get teams to sign a letter in favor of an Andretti Global F1 entry. Whether General Motors wanted to start a new team and run it under the Cadillac banner as an out-and-out, undeniable works project, or collaborate with another established motorsport partner, these options will almost certainly be preferred over a joint bid with an entity that has clearly put some noses out of joint. And we can be assured that no one would object if General Motors considered teaming with a current squad and rebadging it Cadillac. This takes us to the topic of dilution and the underlying debate over whether F1 should prioritize the current 10 teams or allow for more. Dilution has been at the center of any discussion concerning new entrants in recent years. Liberty Media and the existing 10 teams have campaigned for a franchise model that strengthens existing competitors while raising everyone's share of an increasingly large pot as F1 grows. To guard against this, the most recent Concord agreement included a $200 million anti-dilution fund. which basically works as an entrance fee for a new team, to be shared with all existing entrants. This would be a one-time payment that would provide some short-term protection for the amount of revenue that the present teams would lose if another team took a portion of the revenue. However, it appears that the majority of the current teams now agree that this figure is too low in retrospect. They believe that as F1 grows, they will lose even more money. The apparent argument is that this increases the entrance hurdle for a new team even higher, with full involvement from an automotive manufacturer a priority. Something that some stakeholders obviously doubt would be the case with Andretti Cadillac. Whether this is a personal vendetta towards Andretti or a case of F1 banding together against any possibility of dilution will become clear as other bids enter the fray. But for the time being, there is clear and strong opposition to this specific plan, which may have become entangled in an ongoing F1 FIA power battle. After F1 appeared to be leading the way in pursuing Audi and convincing the German manufacturer to commit to a 2026 engine project and purchase the Sauber team, the Andretti Cadillac concept looks to have garnered Ben Sulayem's approval. His declaration of a proposal to solicit expressions of interest was quickly followed by the Andretti announcement, in which Michael Andretti specifically mentioned the FIA president. Ben Sulayem has now felt obliged to openly express his disappointment that this has been met with an unattributed lack of excitement. He's mentioned the FIA previously accepting smaller organizations with an air of, "We let those brands in, why would anyone object?" and has transformed the narrative by publicly championing the virtues of new teams for the first time, while F1 remains much more hesitant about the concept. While there are specific worries regarding Andretti, General Motors and Cadillac, the bottom fact is that there is inherent disagreement at the highest level about what is best for the championship. Any new idea will struggle to get traction until that is settled and consensus is established on what a new F1 team precisely needs to offer, as well as the type of project that can be undertaken. But why is F1 so against an 11th or perhaps 12th team? Championship chairman Stefano Domenicali feels Formula 1 does not currently require an 11th entry, implying that the proposed Andretti team will need to acquire an existing franchise if it wants to enter F1 in 2024. In the run-up to the Belgian Grand Prix, F1 CEO Domenicali informed selected media that the sport does not have a quantity problem with its teams, and that Andretti's outspoken and public approach to gaining a presence in Formula 1 may not be the best path forward. It's a matter of understanding not only the ones that have a bigger or louder voice, there will be others. Andretti was quite vocal about his request, but there are others that are saying in a different way, Domenicali said. Mario, I know him very well since a long time. He's trying to present his idea in a way that he thought is the right way to do it. But I believe there is a governance in place, and the decision has to follow protocol that is in place. Mario is very vocal, Michael too, and I spoke with them quite often, as you can imagine, and we need to respect that. We may have different options. The evaluation is not only with Andretti, the evaluation is with others that are respecting the silence or trying to be more productive on approving who they are, and respecting the protocol we have put in place. I do believe there are more teams that will give more value to the championship, but there is a protocol that has been fulfilled and everyone, Andretti included, is following that. Today, we're talking about the new regulations 2026 and all the manufacturers involved in that, incumbent or maybe the new one, are saying that the time is running very quickly. 4 years to do another power unit. We need to be prudent. When we're talking about Formula 1, we need to have an entity or a team or a manufacturer that's really solid, that is really strong, and has a full commitment for an incredibly long time. Today, I don't see honestly the need of that increase to have a big value for the sport of Formula 1. I don't see a weakness in the number of teams in Formula 1. When asked if backing an independent entry like Andretti may help defend F1 in the case of a future mass pullout by manufacturers, Domenicali recommended that any future new entrants should negotiate to take over current ones rather than trying to enter the category as brand new startups. The same situation of the Grand Prix. There are more people that want to enter, by far, than people that want to leave, he said. Formula 1 today requires an incredible level of professionality and investments, not only for 1 year but for long term. Because there is a lot of interest from a lot of manufacturers, but also a lot of teams, the actual one that may be struggling can discuss and commercialize and negotiate with them if they feel they are weak or if they feel they have no future. So I think it's another value for the ones who are here already. knowing that around them are manufacturers or other teams that want to be in the business. It's a fact that, in my opinion, will reinforce the value of Formula One. What do you think? Will we see Andretti joining anytime soon? Let us know in the comments down below. And as always, thanks for watching. We appreciate the support.